You're listening to Big World Network.
Subprimeval, Season 3, Episode 10, Rattlesnake Roundup. Written by Robert S.C. Cutler. Read by Fentress O. Moore. Drag him out of the truck. Aiden Cobb, a tall, heavy man, laughed loudly. He was wearing a stained ball cap and t-shirt with dirty, worn jeans. The big wad of chewing tobacco in his mouth made his right cheek look as if it were swollen twice its size. "Who in the hell is that, Aiden?" a second man asked. He was tall and lanky, wearing a white wife beater and black snakeskin cowboy boots. "Well, Josh, that's what we call bait, Texas style," he said, slapping Josh hard on the back. "Bait for what?" "Let's just say we're going fishing," Aiden grinned. Two large men, each the size of an NFL linebacker, easily manhandled a man wearing a white cotton jumpsuit with Austin Provisional Compound written in bold black letters across the back. His face was bloodied, and his wrists and ankles were raw from being tied with hemp rope. Dragged along the gravel road on his knees, the man was thrown at the feet of Aiden and Josh. "Where did you get this one from? The prison?" asked Josh. "Can't you read? It's spelled out for you, right on his back." Josh scrunched up his face as he mouthed the words. "How do you say that second word?" "Well, you're just a special kind of stupid, ain't you?" Aiden laughed. "He's from the goddamn refugee camp south of Austin. No shit. How'd you get him out of there? That place is locked up tighter than a gnat's asshole," said Josh. "Two of my cousins are guards. They hate them as much as I do and said they would give me as many as would fit in the bed of my truck." "I don't get it," Josh said. "What do you have against the refugees? All they want to do is go home." "Yeah, to Texas. Their homes are gone forever with those things on the loose. And since they can't go home, our welfare-loving government is offering them plots of land in our state while displacing and stealing land from honest and hard-working Texans." Josh started to get worked up until he was all out pissed. "Well, don't that beat all? I had no idea. My grandma received a letter just last week that 12 of her acres was being seized by the government for something called Project Rescue," Aiden said. "They're claiming eminent domain and are planning on building a condo-type community, and not just on my grandma's land, but all over Texas." "How do I get a piece of one of those thieving bastards?" asked Josh. Aiden smiled big with tobacco-covered teeth. "I got 3 more in my truck. Take your pick, brother. You and Ricky can fight over who drives and who gets to shoot." Like an excited child heading for the tree on Christmas morning, Josh jogged over to the bed of Aiden's pickup. Gagged, hog-tied, and lying on their sides were 2 men and 1 woman, all dressed in the same white cotton jumpsuit as the first man that had been dragged from the truck. Josh studied each person, confirmed his selection with his buddy Ricky, and then announced his selection with Greg Lee. "The woman. I choose the woman." "The others might last longer," Aiden said. "Yeah, but she looks just like my ex-wife." "You know, she kind of does look like Shayla," Aiden said as he looked inside the bed. "All right, boys, let's mount 'em up," he yelled to the other men. One by one, the refugees were dragged out of the bed of Aiden's pickup and tied to oversized, heavy-duty bumpers on the front of each man's truck. Aiden looked proudly over to his 13-year-old son who was riding shotgun and grinning with excitement. His short brown hair was fashioned into a mohawk, and he had a hunting rifle lying across his lap. The other 6 men followed close behind, heading north on a gravel road with their live bait tied to their bumpers, the refugees' heads bobbing up and down and side to side with every pothole and rut in the road the trucks rolled over. "You ready to have some fun, Kyle?" Aiden asked his son. "We're just about there. I can see their beady little eyes glowing ahead in the distance." "Yes, sir. I'm going to bag me a bunch. Kevin Jansen is going to freak when he sees one of those things' heads mounted on my bedroom wall." Aiden looked at his son with a smirk and raised his eyebrows. "And so will your mother. I'll help you mount it, but it has to hang in my shop. Cool?" Yeah, don't want to piss off Mom, Kyle chuckled. That's for sure, Aiden agreed. Aiden picked up his cell phone and called Josh. You see 'em yet? They're just up ahead. Not sure, Josh said, squinting through his dirty windshield. Oh, wait. There they are. Let the others know. I'll go in first, plowing up the middle, and you guys try to corral them. What if they just run away? Asked Josh. With what we have hanging off our front ends, they'll be begging us for more. Aiden sped ahead, reaching 100 plus miles per hour, the rear end of his pickup fishtailing in the loose gravel and dirt. Darting out in front of the truck just like a deer, a creature the size of a large dog was clipped by the bumper, barely missing the refugee, and thrown into the air over the cab, bouncing off the tailgate. The loud and sudden impact made both father and son jump and then laugh hysterically. You see that, Kyle? That's our first kill of the night. Yeah, do it again, Dad. Kyle laughed some more. We're going to do one better. Look out the back window and tell me what you see, Aiden instructed his son. Kyle's eyes grew big, illuminated by the headlights of the other trucks. More creatures than he could count were running and jumping across the road and through the wide open fields. Some of the faster ones were running after his father's truck and catching up. Starting to get nervous, Kyle urged his father to go faster. You're not getting chicken shit on me, are you, son? Maybe I should have left you home with your mother. Kyle's voice cracked when he answered, No, sir. I just want to have a clear shot is all. Aiden smiled and then reassured Kyle. I'm going to slow down and let them have a small taste of bait. And when they're preoccupied, you blast them. Can you handle that? Kyle nodded and sat up in his seat. Aiden lifted his foot off of the gas pedal and watched in his rearview mirror as the grouping of creatures surrounded his truck and then ran ahead. When he heard the blood-curdling screams of the man tied to his bumper, he told his son to lower his window and be ready to shoot. Speeding up another 10 miles an hour, Aiden was able to match the creature's speed and bring them even with the truck's passenger doors. Without hesitation, Kyle shot a creature in the ribcage just below the shoulder, knocking it off stride and causing it to tumble along the ground. I got one! Kyle celebrated and then took aim again, blowing holes into the sides of 2 more creatures. Looking behind him to see where his buddies were, Aiden noticed the 3 creatures his son had shot get back up and accelerate toward the truck. You better work on your aim, Kyle. All you managed to do was clip them. Nuh-uh, I made a kill shot in each one. Aiden picked up his phone and called Josh again. You get any kills? Hell no, I'm filling these bastards full of lead and they just keep on popping back up, Josh exclaimed. I've even switched to my shotgun and it ain't working either. Aiden looked back and noticed Josh's bait was half missing and the other 2 trucks had lost theirs completely. Do Derek and Jim know the refugees are gone? He asked Josh. Yours is only half there. No shit. Ricky and I thought we felt something pulling on the front end like we had a flat or something. Well, let them know we're going to run out of real estate in about a mile and I will have to turn this turkey shoot around. And if these things don't start dying, I'm going to call it a night. Hear that? I don't want to waste any more ammo myself. Shit's too expensive. The sound of 2 cars colliding caused Aiden to jump and drop his phone on the floor of the cab. Looking back again, he saw the truck Josh and Ricky were in swerve around the wreckage of the other 2. Put on your seatbelt, Kyle. I'm turning this thing around. Heading back toward the wreck, Aiden found himself driving upstream through a river of creatures. Instead of avoiding his truck, they seemed to purposely be running into it and scampering up and over the hood in the cab. Up ahead in the beam of his headlights, the 2 wrecked trucks were crumpled, lying on their sides, and covered in creatures ravenously ripping the occupants from the cabs one piece at a time. As they circled around the horrible scene, they saw Josh shooting away in desperation. We've got to get them out of there, Aiden cried. Hearing his father's words but not comprehending the situation, Kyle reloaded his rifle and rolled down his window. Before Aiden could yell at him to roll it back up, Kyle was hanging halfway out and taking aim. The crack of the gun being fired was followed swiftly by the sound of someone getting the air knocked out of them. The recoil get you, son? Asked Aiden. Approaching the wreck more closely in the truck, Aiden tried to split his attention between his friends and Kyle. After asking the same question again, Aiden reached over and dragged Kyle back through the window by the back of his shirt. "Get back in here! You're a sitting target hanging out like that!" Feeling that Kyle was limp and unresponsive, Aiden stopped the truck and turned his son over, revealing that half his head was missing. Pushing down hard on the gas pedal, Aiden sped in the direction of Ricky and Josh, who were both screaming for help. Just yards away, he witnessed their demise as they were each pulled out of the cab of the truck and dismembered. Beside himself with anguish and fear, Aiden swerved away from the gruesome sight and headed toward home. Before he could travel 20 more feet, a large creature jumped inside the cab through Kyle's open window and exited with Aiden, taking the door with them. While Aiden's body was piled on by a dozen more creatures, Kyle's remains were dragged out of and away from the truck, which rolled to a stop against the cattle fence 100 feet away, its headlights reflecting off the eyes of yet another horde of curious creatures heading that way.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.
You're listening to Big World Network.